Hi, I'm MarzGurl.
And I'm JoshKnightTheFirst.
And welcome to episode 53 of MokkoriPlay, the only podcast dedicated solely to all things City Hunter.
On today's podcast, we're going to cover Season 2, Episode 2 of City Hunter, titled Ryo's her future husband. Her horoscope says she will meet and marry him, Part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2.
A lot of Part 2s in this season.
There's going to be a lot of that.
A lot of that.
So something we wanted to go ahead and talk about here, because, if you guys have been listening, even as of last week, we were complaining about where's our City Hunter movie, Sunrise? Where's it at? And we got an update on that.
Well, kinda, yeah, I guess. So apparently, Aniplex is about to be out here at Jump Festa 2023, which actually is in 2022. But,
it's stuff for 2023.
Don't tell them that.
What is time?
It's still 2022. They're debuting something over at Jump Festa 2023, and apparently they're selling some sort of a City Hunter special movie placard with ticket. I think it's a movie ticket for the movie that we don't actually have a release date for, but it's probably now going to come out in 2023, which, they didn't do a very good job of keeping us updated on that.
No, they did not.
But it has not fallen off the face of the planet, and now apparently if you look at their list of whatever that Aniplex special event was we were talking about before, now suddenly the City Hunter movie has appeared on the list of anime that are going to be discussed there. So it did not die. It has not totally disappeared off the face of the planet. It was really weird how it was handled.
Look, I just wish they had been upfront with us and told us, look, we couldn't make it. There's a lot of stuff going on. We had to push it back a couple months, so it's 2023 now. That's all I needed you to tell me.
I mean, I guess that's their way of saying it.
Is that we had to go look it up and kind of find out, oh yeah, we're still working on it.
Great. Thanks for the update, Aniplex.
God. At least that means we're getting more City Hunter content, which means even more so, somewhere in the future, there will be another episode added onto this damn podcast.
We're not gonna be done for years. I'm telling you.
You guys need to understand, we have decided to commit years of our lives to this.
Well, because we sort of discussed this, right? It's gonna take more than a year to finish City Hunter 2. I think we can finish up City Hunter 3 and City Hunter 91 in the same year, because they're both pretty short.
Yeah, they're short seasons. I think they're only like one core each, right? Or at least City Hunter 91 is.
Yeah, like they're not a full year's worth of episodes.
For those of you that aren't familiar with the vernacular, usually when you're watching an anime, one cour,
COUR,
is equivalent to about 12 to 13 episodes.
Right.
So like a quarter.
Like a 3-month period.
Right, so like a quarter of a year, thereabouts.
Regardless, so then after that, there's a handful of OVAs, the City Hunter live action film, then there's all those...
Films, multiple. Because we're also counting Jackie Chan.
The French live action film, followed by the bajillion other live action films from around China and Taiwan or wherever the hell. Then we've still got to think about Angel Heart. Angel Heart's got an anime, and it's got a live action show, and then there's that Korean show. And this is not gonna stop. This is never going to stop.
I don't know that we're ever getting off this train.
I guess not. At some point, do we just stop and start talking about manga chapters? Like, what do we do?
I don't know
after
about
that?
that. I think at a certain point, we'll know when to get off the train.
I guess so.
But we have gotten on at the Mokkori station, and we're just chugging along.
There's a lot of Mokkori, so, it's gonna be a while.
Yes.
There's some Mokkori in this. Maybe there shouldn't be, but there's some Mokkori in this episode.
There's definitely a lot of that. And some of it's problematic, and we do need to address it.
Yeah.
So that having been said, let's go ahead and get right into this episode with the good old-fashioned last time on City Hunter 2.
Go back and listen to the last podcast episode. There you go.
That's what happened on last episode of City Hunter 2.
Thanks.
No, so Ryo is taking care of this 15-year-old girl who happens to be a model. She's being targeted by some guy. We thought it was her brother.
And then it wasn't.
But the brother's got his own problems. Sister complex. But there is another guy out there with a real gun.
Why is he trying to shoot her? We don't know yet. We're gonna find out.
And now we're up to speed. Great. So like we were just saying, Akami's little brother Atsushi, at the beginning of this episode, he's in his room, kind of sad, like contemplating, well, now Ryo knows my secret. I don't know if there's gonna be any consequences for my sister finding out I was Kaijin X.
He's gonna tell her. He's totally gonna tell her. And she busts into his room, and she's just like, no, come down for breakfast. And so seemingly he's fine. Spring break 88.
Woo!
So breakfast happens.
And while they're there at the breakfast table, Atsushi is asking Ryo, hey man, why didn't you snitch on me?
Bro code or something.
Basically
it's the bro code, which, I don't know, he's trying to protect this kid. If it were me, be like, no man, you tried to shoot up your sister's room, what the hell?
Yeah, like, we need to have a talk. You need a psychiatrist? You need a counselor? Do you need a hug?
No, apparently we need the bro code.
Okay, bro code. So we're just toxic masculinity. We're just not going to talk about how your response to your sister having her own life was guns.
Even if they weren't technically quote-unquote real guns, they still shot up her room and potentially caused damage to some of the things that she loves, although that was probably the real bullets from the other guy. I don't know. It's hard to say what damage was done by which guy.
The point is, I think the little brother is damaged.
Oh yeah, he's totally damaged goods.
Now, while they're having this conversation there at the breakfast table, we hear an insert song here, which happens to be done by the artist that is doing the opening theme for this season, or for this part of the season, Psy S, and the song is called Earth.
It's a very bland title, but yeah, it's a cute sounding song. Now that sent me down an interesting rabbit hole, which actually I was incorrect about at first, because I was like, this whole time in both of these episodes, I'm thinking, man, both this girl and her brother,
Akemi and Atsushi,
they kind of suck. They're not very good voice actors.
They're not the greatest, admittedly.
Especially the girl. She's not a very good voice actor. And so I thought, especially as this song is playing, man, is it that they brought in the vocalist for this song and they wanted to give her like a role in the show? And it's not the same person singing. That's not the voice actor here. But it is a singer. And so it's a singer by the name of Sayuri Kokusho,
who also went by Sayu-chan.
Oh, Sayu-chan. Oh, it's so friggin' adorable. Anyway, so, like, she's about the right age range, the same kind of age range as the character in this show, and she's really not a voice actor. She pretty much is just a pop singer, and apparently she had Japan's #1 most popular Valentine song of all time called Valentine Kiss, which I went and looked up, and it's not a very good song.
Let's come correct here. You subjected me to this song, and this is one of the most saccharine pieces of crap I have ever heard in my life.
Well, also, this is like beginner's singer lesson.
Baby's first pop hit is what we're telling you.
Okay. Like, I'm glad that you have something that will solidify you in Japanese pop culture forever. Congratulations to you, ma'am.
And for all your success, but to my ears here in the year 2022, turn it off. So after breakfast is done, we find that it is actually Akemi's day off. She doesn't have to go in and shoot anything today.
But that's what she's gonna do anyways, go into her office, even though she doesn't have to.
So she's asking Ryo to come with her on a little date of sorts, and Atsushi is there protesting, no, he can't, you can't do it, I'm coming with you.
And Ryo's like, no you're not, and if you try to come with us, I'm gonna tell her that you're Kaijin X. No, don't tell her I'm Kaijin X, fine, I'll stay here, I'll be a good boy.
Also, Akemi tells him something about, no, if you come with us, your horoscope says bad things are gonna happen to you today. And she's kinda right.
Well, bad things happen to him without him needing to go with them, so I don't know how her horoscope seems to know about what will happen if he goes outside. I don't know, that's really specific. But people believe in stuff like that. I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing. It's not often fully correct, but that's kind of how it works. And really, it's just you put as much stock into it as you feel comfortable with, and you kind of roll with it.
Well, that girl puts all of her stock into it.
Now, as we see them getting into the Fiat, because again, for some reason, Ryo doesn't have his car, we see that the guy from the end of last episode is silently watching over them. He's a guy wearing a onesie fatigue looking outfit, and he's got
pink and silver hair.
Well, he's got silver hair with pink highlights.
Just a big old pink streak down the side of his head.
Pink tips. Like, think the Flock of Seagulls haircut. I'll give you guys time to look that up. For those of you who aren't familiar with 80s culture, it looks like that, but silver.
And a slice of pink.
Yes. So as they're in the car, Ryo's asking, all right, Akemi, where to? And she's like, well, I want you to come with me to a dark, locked room. And he's like, what? what?
Which she's not lying about. It's just the dark room of a photography lab. By the way, photography labs are the thing where you use film, actual reel of film in a camera, and then you take that film and then you go and expose it in a dark room so that you don't blow the film out. And look, this is a thing that happened before digital, okay? Like, it's important. You need to know about it.
So they get to the dark room there at the studio, which apparently Akemi has agreed with the studio that they'll let her use it on her days off. And they go ahead and shut off the lights. And as you would figure, because this is still an anime, Ryo can't see in the dark and feels around and cops feel on Akemi.
Which, I'm gonna assume that it starts off like, oh, it really was an accident, but he sure does not immediately pull away once he figures out this is a pair of breasts, and the only a pair of breasts in this room belong to that of a 15-year-old, so...
She tells him knock it off, but unfortunately for this one, there is no punishment beyond that of just her saying stop.
I mean, he stops, but like...
Like, did we have to?
Man.
Did we really have
like,
to?
I can't, this is one of those, I can't defend it.
No,
There's
we
no
can't.
defending it.
So as they're there developing film, Akemi notices that there's one photo in particular that didn't come out the way she had planned. And it's a picture of the guy in the jumpsuit with the silver hair out in front of like a bank or something.
She explains that, oh, I was trying to take a self-portrait, but while I was taking it, the tripod fell over, and I guess this is what it got. And Ryo's like, wait a minute, I know this guy.
And so he asks her, do you remember when this photo was taken? And she tells him, and he's like, hang on, I gotta go make a call. So he rings up Kaori and asks her to look in the paper. Hey, can you tell me what happened last Saturday around 3 p.m.?
Very specific, but somehow Kaori manages to kind of pull it up with a quickness like, oh yeah, there was a murder in this building at like about that time. Does that help? Yeah, thanks.
So Akemi asks, wait, do you know the person in this photo? And Ryo's like, yeah, unfortunately, and we need to get back to your apartment right now.
Cause he's probably looking for you because you took this photo, and it would be proof that he done did a murder, and he's probably looking for you, but you're not there, but you know who is there? It's your little brother. Little brother's at home, all by himself.
And he's there, all by his lonesome, and he hears noises in the background in Akemi's room, and he's like, wait a minute, she's not home right now.
Is it a cat?
You don't own a cat, dumbass.
Is it a burglar? I mean, maybe. He picks up like a broom or a mop or something.
A broom.
It's like a broom. And is like, well, I guess I'm gonna go be the man of the house. Go bust down the door and start swinging.
And so he opens the door, and inside we see the murderer-to-be, because he's trying to do another murder right now.
Well, he's not a murderer-to-be if he has already done a murder.
But he's looking to do another murder, and also trying to get rid of evidence. So this guy, we're told, his name is Silver Fox.
Kingitsune.
Yes, in Japanese, Kingitsune. And, Silver Fox, he's a real young-looking guy, so it's not Silver Fox as it is used in the current vernacular.
No, it just means his hair is silver.
And he's got a face that looks kind of sly, because that's a thing over in Japan. If you have a sly-looking face, they call you a fox.
I mean, that just makes sense to me.
So, of course, Atsushi is taken aback by there's this strange man in his sister's room, and what's that in his hand?
A knife!
No! And so, Silver Fox over here tries to intimidate Atsushi by doing the whole lick the knife thing.
And I'm over here like, animators, why did you do this? He licked the serrated edge of the knife. I mean, nothing happened to him, but I'm just like, ripped your own tongue right open, man.
Like, why would you? No, you licked the flat end. You dumbass. And of course, Silver Fox is like, all right, you've seen my face. Don't look at my face. Oh, you've seen the face? It's too late. All right, it's time for killing. And he moves in ever closer, and all Atsushi can do is like throw his slipper at him, which does nothing.
I mean, before he throws the slipper at him, he cuts the stick of the broom in half. So he's already like, with the knife.
And it broke the broom.
But yeah, the slipper, your slippers aren't going to do much against knives. But you know what knives don't do much against? Guns!
So Ryo shows up just in the nick of time as footsteps starts playing. And he takes a shot at the knife as Silver Fox is lunging at Atsushi, breaks the knife, and manages to lodge a bit of the knife in Silver Fox's chest.
And it like his shoulder, like
in his chest, yeah.
It was not the center of his chest. It was like...
Well, it's off center, but like, that hurt.
I mean, I wouldn't want that lodged in me.
Like, I remember... is a dumb thing to bring up right now, but just talking about things being lodged in you. So when I was a kid, about like 9 or so, I was being real dumb in the kitchen one day, and I used a serrated knife from the block to cut myself a sandwich, make a sandwich.
Oh, okay.
And my dumbass thought, okay, it's about 4 feet from me to the sink. And instead of walking over to the sink and putting the knife in the sink because it was dirty, I decided to throw the knife into the sink.
What? Why?
And so what happens is I throw the knife, it bounces perfectly off the counter, flips over, I was barefoot.
No!
And it lodged in my foot.
No!
By about I'd say 1/4 of an inch.
No!
And I was so in shock at the moment. I didn't yell, I didn't scream, I just very patiently pulled it out.
No!
Washed it off, put it in the sink, and then proceeded to go find my parents and be like, I need help.
No! No!
How
old were you?
9.
No wonder you threw a knife like a fucking idiot. Oh my god.
The way it lodged, Kung Fu Hustle is what I'm saying to you. The way, the knife joke where the tubby guy, or he's trying to throw the knife and then it just lodges in the dude's shoulder.
Yeah.
It was like that.
No.
I'm fine now.
Well, yeah, you are much older than 9 now.
Yes, much older. So much older. What is time? So yeah, right now we've got Silver Fox looking down the barrel of Ryo's gun, so he needs to make his escape immediately, and we see that Silver Fox has done his homework, so he throws something to get Ryo's mind off of him.
It's bra!
Crap, I have to go for it, because Ryo can't resist. He makes this swimming motion through the air, catches it with his teeth, and has this freakazoid looking face as he catches it.
It's disgusting. It's funny, but it's disgusting. But, man, successfully got away, this guy. Good job throwing braziers at people as a distraction, and it works. And even Ryo is damn, he crawled out the window.
Yeah, he was able to rappel down the side of the building, use the shard that's in his chest to cut the knife. So Ryo
cut the rope.
To cut the rope. Why did I say cut the knife? The knife has already been destroyed. And so Ryo can't give chase. He's like, damn, this guy's good.
And he's saying that with a bra still in his mouth. He's like, oh wow, this guy's good.
I hate to have to bring it up, okay, because we have to ask this question a couple of times when somebody knows what Ryo's weakness is. Did Silver Fox A, go out and buy a bra,
or was this
B, one of Akemi's bras, since he was already in her room?
I don't know. You know what? I think it's better that we not know, if I'm to be honest with you.
Then I'm actually going to go with A then.
For our own sanity.
For our own sanity.
Let's say that it is A.
So Akemi, finally makes her way into the apartment and sees Atsushi there on the floor, kind of slumped over from everything that's just happened. She's like, oh my god, I can't believe we left you here alone and you were in danger, oh no. And Ryo's like, hey man, you actually did try to be the man of the house and tried to step to him even though you were probably about to die until I showed up with a gun. So respect, bro code.
Yeah, continue the bro code. I mean, this one, I think, deserves more respect than the last bro code moment. I'm only giving him 1 point. Although, if we put them together, you are at no points, because it was -1 point plus 1 point. That makes 0 points.
At least you're not in the negatives.
I guess not. 0 is not a negative number.
You don't know that. You're not good at math.
It's the only thing I know!
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So, Atsushi, we see that he's okay. So, Akemi goes and gives Ryo a big ol' hug, oh my god, thank you so much for saving my brother. And Ryo's like, hey, your nice boobs are on me, I can't breathe.
Which is a gross comment. He did not need to say that. Thankfully, he's not, deliberately touching her in any way. He's right, she is just pressed up against him, but he didn't need to say anything. He really did not need to bring it up, and so this will be the one time that it was totally fine that the brother comes swinging at him, and he's so angry that he just generated a 100-ton hammer out of absolutely nothing. He didn't even swing it himself, it's just it appeared.
He willed it into being with his anger.
It just appeared over Ryo's head, and it's there, pressing him into the ground, and hopefully doing psychic damage.
Well, it does appear that Ryo is taking psychic damage, because it's he gets hit with the hammer, and he's like, man, this is just like if Cowdy were here, and she would totally do this. And so it's at this point we get the eye catch, we're midway through the episode, and he's slumped over with the hammer having bashed him in the head. But it's nice. Usually the eye catch is a freeze frame, but even during this freeze frame, Ryo's leg is still twitching.
He's still tweaking out, yeah.
So now that that's blown over, it's the next day and Akemi does have to go into work, but Atsushi doesn't want to leave her alone now, so now he's coming along in the car with everybody, and he's all done up in hockey pads.
Like he's Casey Jones, except without a mask.
It's that whole line from The Dark Knight. What's the difference between us and you? I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Even then, Kid is still scared. He's scared out of his wits. In fact, he's like, hey, what's this package that we've got sitting over here to the side of me? And Ryo's like, oh, that was just a bomb I found attached to the car. What? Oh, don't worry about it, man. I already deactivated it. It's fine.
Even then, Ryo, you left a bomb in a car with children, with minors?
It's fine. I deactivated it. God, why are you freaking out right now?
No, it literally reminds me of this joke from Die Hard with a Vengeance, where McClane disarms the bomb, and then Samuel L. Jackson's character is like, well, you're not just gonna leave it here in the park, right? Why not? A kid could find it. Like, this is literally that case right now.
Yeah.
You let a kid touch a bomb.
He's just holding it. He's just holding it, even if it's deactivated.
So now they're at the studio, and Akemi is surprisingly calm considering what the circumstances are, because she has full faith in Ryo. But Ryo isn't actually watching over her right now, because for some odd reason, which we'll learn in just a second, there is a ton of photo albums of naked women there in her dressing room.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. It's plot weird, but it is kind of weird. You just see Ryo holding up this photo, and you're like, that is a fully naked person, completely naked. I mean, thankfully, it's drawn without very much detail at all whatsoever. So it's almost comically naked. Like, it's like if a third grader was like, I'm gonna draw a pair of boobs and there's like 2 curves and that's it.
It's
two little dots for nipples.
It's got... Well, no, I don't even think we saw a nipple. Like, it's got all the definition of a Barbie doll.
Kind of. Like, there's not detail in this drawing because it's so small in the frame and it's so far away.
Now, as Ryo is looking at this photo album, Akemi is thinking to herself, the photographer sure is late today. At which point, cut to, we see that the photographer has been knocked out and Silver Fox has literally stolen his face.
And his clothes, and has tied him up with a rope and thrown him in the back of, I don't know, the studio somewhere?
I don't know, a closet or something.
It looks like he's been thrown behind some like wires and cords and equipment and stuff.
Well, like if we're going by that, then he's not that far away from where everybody is.
No,
and that's
he's
just
not.
sloppy.
Yeah, he just needed to get it done real fast, I guess. So anyway, Silver Fox is dressed up like the photographer and wears his face and shows up in her room and is like, all right, let's go get this photography done. Let's go do a photography.
As they say in photography, let's do that photography. So they go to the set and he's like, all right, so we're going to test the camera real quick. All right, stand right there. And also going along with the whole Mission Impossible thing of this is a fake face. This is also a fake camera because it turns out the camera
is a gun.
Is actually a gun.
But thankfully, Akemi stalls long enough to be like, hey, aren't you going to like light your subject? Like if I were him, I'd have been like, just trust me and then just shoot her. Like I would not have stopped and stalled to like be like, click, click, okay, the lights are on, ha ha ha, my bad, okay, now I'm gonna shoot you. Like, I would have just done it, honestly.
Yeah, but it's like, one, if you're going to impersonate somebody, usually you do your homework on what the person does.
No, this guy's just an idiot.
Like, it's becoming more and more apparent that Silver Fox might be kind of dumb and bad at his job.
He might be. I mean, he let himself get caught on camera on accident and then trashed a room with someone who, he didn't check to see if anybody else was still at home before he started trying to wreck a room.
Right, and then he's tied somebody up and left him within close proximity, and then he's impersonating a photographer and didn't look up the first thing about photography. Also, if he wanted to do it when he put her in the hallway, he could have just done her then.
Yeah.
Also, if he doesn't care about who's in the room, he could have just done it when he came in the room to get her.
Nobody else was in the room.
Well, because Ryo and Atsushi were behind a curtain, right?
I thought they were in a totally different room.
No, they were in the same room behind a curtain. So
okay.
But it's like, it's the whole thing, it's inconsistent why he does what he does when he does it.
Whatever, he's bad at this.
So now he's being like very cartoony of, all right, hold still, and then inner monologuing, all right, now I need to push the button to make the camera be a gun, and I will shoot the camera.
Which is, by the way, a Nikon.
Yeah, actually name brand.
Yeah, good job. Because it's next week where we're getting...
Not a Canon.
Canums.
Or a come on.
Camon. Come on! Next week. Saving that for next week.
Yeah, Nikon this week. And as he's about to take a shot, Ryo gets in the way.
And he's like, I also have a Nikon. But also, do you really have the gun camera? Or do I have the gun camera? I guess you don't really know, do you? Want to play chicken?
Like, this seems like something out of Police Squad.
Yeah.
The way Ryo is just calling his bluff, like, I also have a trick camera. I have the exact same implement that you do. Are you willing to bet your life on whether or not I am lying?
And eventually he's just like, no, sir, I am not. I'm not willing to take that bet. And Ryo's like, good, because it was a trick camera, but not the way that you think. Haha, it's one of those boxing gloves on a spring. You know, from a Wile E. Coyote cartoon or something.
Or the Joker.
Or the Joker, whatever. Pow, right in the face.
Pow, right in the kisser. And Ryo tells Silver Fox, all right, just so you're aware, I found the roll of negatives that you're looking for. I will hold on to them. If you come back here, I will mess you up.
So we're not gonna report this man for murder? Like, he actually killed someone, though.
Yeah, like, Ryo, you should call Sayako. This is her thing.
Why are we letting him go? I don't understand.
Well, because, again, remember, Ryo isn't a cop.
No, he's not, but, like, that guy did do a murder, though.
He did do a murder. So it's kind of bad that Ryo has let him go. Because that's what happens. He just takes off.
Yeah.
I just love that when Ryo calls his bluff, he's basically like, all right, smile, bitch. And then he gets him with the spring-powered boxing glove. Like, the eyes were really intense when Ryo did that.
Very upset while using a very comical device. Yeah.
And that, folks, that's comedy. So now that this has all mostly been wrapped up because this guy's not going to come after Akemi anymore, now it's time for Ryo to help her with her other problem, which is that she doesn't want to be a talent anymore.
So we follow through on kind of what she was saying in last episode, where if I say that I'm going to get married, then they're going to have to let me go because they can't market somebody who's married, because Japanese talent agencies are shit like that, because they want to make sure you are as single as humanly possible, because we want to make sure that creepy dudes feel like they totally got a chance with this 15-year-old girl. Oh my fucking god, I'm so upset.
Like, I saw, you guys can't see this because this is audio, the look on your face as you said that sentence and you realized what you were saying. Alright?
It's so fucking disgusting because it's real. But Ryo plays along like, yep, I'm totally gonna get married to her on her birthday when she turns 16, which would be when she legally could get married, but it's still kind of fucking gross.
The management team falls for it and they're like, oh, we have to let you go. It's no good anymore. Oh, we're ruined. And Akemi and Ryo go skipping happily into the hall outside the room.
The animation's so good, too.
They do this little happy dance. Like, Ryo's doing this little shuffle and Akemi's just jumping up and down all happy. I need a gif of that.
Yeah, it's really good.
And so Cowdy shows up to be like, wait a minute. No, this is bad. This is wrong.
To which Ryo's like, what are you talking about? Why are you so upset that we're not actually getting married? Why? Because you just ruined her career. That's why.
And because she's no longer contracted here, we don't get paid. This is another freebie. And Ryo's like, it's fine. We're used to it. And it's like me watching the show. I'm like, hey man, you should try to get your paper though. Like,
yeah,
a month?
Yeah.
That's bad. Like, some of us out here live paycheck to paycheck. I don't know how you do it. Going like a month in between jobs, you know. How do you say it? Freelance life?
Yeah, freelance life. He's got to pay for apparently an entire building.
Maybe multiple Mini Coopers. And I hope Cowdy owns that Fiat outright.
Surely she owns it.
Also, quick note, the Fiat, the driver's side was on the left side this week?
Sometimes it's on the left, sometimes it's on the... I don't know. They do that with the Mini Cooper sometimes too. Most of the time it's on the right, but sometimes it's on the left. I don't know.
Well, in any case, since they're not getting paid, Akemi asks Ryo, well, in lieu of payment, would you still take me?
Ryo's over here like, and I agree with him, like, what are you talking about? Like, we already discussed this. This was fake, right? Like, this wasn't a real thing. You didn't even want it in the first place. And she's like, yes, I do.
Because she's like, I checked again with our horoscopes because I asked you earlier in the car what your birth date was, and it turns out, based off what you told me, that your date of birth is March 31st of 1967. That makes you an Aries, and that makes you perfectly matched with me.
And Kaori's freaking out like, wait, that birth date, an Aries? That's not your birthday, that's my birthday. What the
So Ryo, like we've said before, kind of getting ahead of ourselves here, Ryo is BSing his date of birth.
Yeah, like, he's sitting here going, yeah, this is my birthday, and like, I'm thinking about the date of the release of this episode that would have made him about 21, and immediately you should be like, no, this man is not 21 years old.
No, he's much older.
Also, while he's saying it, it sounds like he's kind of fumbling around, like, what is my birthday? That will come up later.
Because that's actually plot relevant for the whole show.
What is my birthday? But, you know, it doesn't really get discussed in this episode, but it's kind of nice. Ryo remembered her birthday.
But it's also the thing, how could Ryo forget her birthday?
He would never be able to forget her birthday because it's also the day one of his best friends got murdered. So, yeah, that's kind of hard.
Yeah, you're not going to forget that day for the rest of your life.
Probably not, no.
Now, of course, with this revelation that is not actually Ryo's birthday, it's Coyote's birthday, you can do that joke from the Valentine's episode of The Simpsons. Look, Kaylin, if you slow it down, you can see the exact moment Akemi's heart splits in two.
This poor girl. At the same time, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, well, great. At least somebody here matches up with my horoscope. Let's go, Kaori!
I'm sorry, Kaylin, it's not that kind of episode. Sometimes it is, but not this week.
No, not this time. She really specifically wanted Ryo. Ryo's kind of an asshole here, though, and he's just like, oh yeah, guess that was wrong.
He's doing this on purpose to get her off his back.
And he just laughs so hard.
Yeah, she's running down the hall crying.
Like a horse. He's just so mean.
And Coyote gets him with the hammer, which, yeah, like, I get it, because she's even scolding him back at the apartment like, you have no concept of how a young girl feels.
And he really doesn't, because he's just kind of complaining like, I do not understand why you are mad at me. I don't understand any of this.
Like, technically, I've done the right thing here. I've gotten the 15-year-old girl away from me.
Which he did, but he was an asshole.
And so now Akemi's back at her apartment, kind of sulking in her bed, and you think that Atsushi is going to try and cheer her up, but he's kind of just there to gloat.
Like, hey, what are you even sad about? Ryo was an asshole.
He's the lowest of the low. You don't need to be with him. He's a jerk. You don't need him. And then she just hits him with, he told me you were Kaijin X.
Damn it. Well, fine. Go to him. Like, what do you even need the horoscope for? Even if the horoscope is wrong, who cares? Just go. Which I guess to him it's more important that she be happy than she be in love with her brother. I don't know. This is weird.
Well, it depends on how much he told her, because she says that Ryo told me that you're Kaijin X, but he also told me to not go hard on you because everything you did out of love, which I get to a certain extent, but can we talk about the guns?
He shoots at me because he loves me?
We don't have time for that podcast.
This is one of those red flag moments where if this came up, you'd be like, maybe arrest him now before he does something else.
And she's there being like, look, you don't understand. He told me to go easy on you because he's kind, and it's because he's that kind. That's why I love him.
Okay.
So yeah, he's like, yeah, well, if you love him so much, go.
If you love him so much, why don't you marry him? Oh, okay.
Maybe I will. And so she does that. She goes back over to Coyote and Ryo's apartment, and she's there like, hey, I got my stuff.
And Ryo's like, why do you have your stuff? Because I live here now. No, you don't. Hey, Kaori, why aren't you helping me? I need help. You just left me alone with the 15-year-old for some reason. This is kind of weird.
And she says something that does make sense. You know, I learned that it doesn't matter what your horoscope says. Sometimes you have to make your own path in life.
Sure, that's fine. Maybe do that when you're an adult, though.
And so, yeah, she's like there throwing herself at Ryo, and she has begun, as we're starting to hear Supergirl playing in the background, she has thrown herself and already committed to the freeze frame.
Even though the freeze frame isn't done.
Like she is frozen already, you know, arms wrapped around Ryo's neck, and Ryo's there calling for, yeah, Coyote, help me out here.
Whereas Kaori has legitimately abandoned him and walked outside and just been like, I think I need to look at my own horoscope microscope to look for a good man myself. And as if the animators and the storytellers are trying to send a message, you see up in the stars in the sky
A constellation.
a constellation of Rio.
And then cue Supergirl, and that's the end of the episode. It's a catchy song.
It is a pretty good song.
I sing along every time. Like, I can only say that about this ending and Get Wild.
Right.
Because admittedly, later when we do get the other theme that's done by TM Network, it's a good song. I will never sing along to it.
I like just listening to that one.
Yeah.
Also, I still feel like it should only be a Christmas ending, but then they decided we're gonna do the Christmas ending, and then we're not gonna stop doing the Christmas ending.
So this is the sucky part about how we decided to do this season. Even if we hadn't taken a break, we will not get to the Christmas-themed ending theme before Christmas. We'll probably get to it by Valentine's Day.
Bummer. But then we can play this actress's song, Valentine Kiss, Japan's #1 most popular Valentine's Day song.
No, we will not. That song was awful.
It was really bad.
So for you guys to go look it up, it's Sayuri Kokusho Valentine Kiss. You try playing this for somebody, and you tell me you're not going to want to plug your ears with dynamite.
Jeez. I mean, I didn't think it was that bad, but
it's super annoying.
What I will want to do when I listen to it is turn it off. I mean, it's that easy, Josh.
No, you're right. I should just turn it off. So next episode, we're actually going to continue this plot thread of Rio really shouldn't have let Silver Fox get away.
No kidding!
Because he's coming back with a vengeance, and he's got his sights set on Kaori.
Gee, maybe letting the murderer, the guy who's already done a murder, walk away and prevent him from being able to do the murder he wanted to do was a bad idea, because he's just gonna come back with a grudge. He's got a grudge now. Good job, Rio. This was a mistake.
You think of every episode where we've seen Rio just let the bad guy go. This is finally the first time where that might actually come back and bite him in the ass.
Yeah, and it's a two-parter too, so clearly, yes, it bites him in the ass, because this takes a while to wrap up. Good job, Rio. Dumbass. You should have turned him into the police. Why was that so hard?
It's okay. We'll eventually get this sorted out.
All right. In 2 more weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank you. Well, anyway, come back next time when we cover the 3rd episode of City Hunter 2, Kaori's in Danger. Love means saying goodbye, part 1.
And if you want to catch us outside this podcast, you can always find us this week on Hive. I'm at JoshKnightTheFirst.
And I'm at MarzGurl. We still don't really know where we're gonna land after Twitter. Who knows? Thank you all so much for listening to our 53rd episode of MokkoriPlay. And if you don't come back next episode, I'm gonna throw Josh out a window.
Wait, what?